Hello, I'm Ben Brown. You're watching The Context on BBC News.
Refugees are welcome here! Refugees are welcome here! Refugees are welcome here!
The police will be there to respond to any violence and criminality that we see on our streets. There's no place for that on our UK streets, and the police will do their job like they have done exceptionally well under very difficult circumstances.
Well, our main story is that large, peaceful anti-racism protests are taking place right now across the United Kingdom. It comes as thousands of police officers are on the streets preparing for possible far-right demonstrations and violent unrest. Shops and businesses have been boarded up in a number of towns and cities in England and Northern Ireland. Well, the first people convicted of violent disorder during the wave of unrest in England and Northern Ireland in the last few days have now been jailed for up to 3 years. Russia has declared a state of emergency in the Kursk region in response to what Moscow says is a continuing cross-border incursion by the Ukrainian military. The World Health Organization says it is sending 1 million polio vaccines to Gaza, where the disease has been detected since health systems collapsed because of Israel's war with Hamas. So thousands of people are rallying against racism in several parts of the United Kingdom. And as we've been hearing, the large majority of these protests have been peaceful. Riot-trained police officers are on standby tonight for up to 100 far-right rallies that were expected to take place across the country. But a number of counter-demonstrations instead have taken place. We've seen them, for example, in Brighton, where there is a huge police presence at a counter-protest that has spilled out onto one of the main streets in the centre of the city. This is Bristol, where over 1,000 counter-protesters have gathered on West Street, where almost all the businesses on the street have boarded up their windows, fearing possible right-wing protests. In Brentford, there's an anti-racism protest taking place on the Great West Road, one of the main routes into the centre of London. And this is a counter-protest taking place in Liverpool, where actually earlier in the day a court imposed those first jail sentences on some of the people found guilty of violent disorder that has taken place in the last few days. Well, we've got reporters all around the country. Let's go first to the BBC special correspondent Lucy Manning, who's I think in Newcastle. What's the picture there, Lucy?
Well, there have been around 1,000 protesters